The stars stretched endlessly above Captain Ethan Ryland's ship as it cut through the black void. The patrol mission was routine, or so it seemed. Reports of alien distress signals from the planet Veyara had reached the United Galactic Council weeks ago. The signal was faint, almost lost among the static of space, but it carried an unmistakable urgency. Ethan's orders were clear. Investigate, provide aid if possible, and report back. Veyara was nothing like Earth. The planet's surface shimmered with jagged rock formations and deep canyons. Its skies were an ever-changing swirl of green and gold, reflecting the high levels of radiation in its atmosphere. The landing was rough, but Ethan's training carried him through. His boots crunched on the rocky soil as he stepped out, scanning the horizon with practiced caution. He wasn't alone. His AI companion, Lyra 9, floated beside him, its sensors sweeping the area. "Captain, the distress signal is strong in that direction," the AI said, its calm voice breaking the silence. Ethan nodded. "Let's move. Keep sensors on alert. I don't want any surprises." As they approached the source, Ethan noticed movement among the rocks. Something, or someone, was struggling. His instincts kicked in. He drew his sidearm, scanning the area carefully. That's when he saw her. An alien woman, unlike any species he had encountered before, lay partially hidden behind a jagged boulder. Her skin was a soft shade of silver blue, and her eyes glowed faintly, reflecting both fear and exhaustion. She was small, delicate in form, but clearly intelligent. Ethan could see wounds on her arms and legs. She had been attacked or injured during her escape. "Hey!" Ethan called out, keeping his voice calm. "I'm not here to hurt you. Are you okay?" The alien woman's eyes widened. She tried to rise but collapsed again. Pain and desperation painted her face. "Please, help me," she whispered in a voice that sounded almost musical. Ethan rushed to her side, kneeling carefully. "I'll help, but you have to trust me. Can you move?" She shook her head. "No, they will find me. And my people. We will end." Her words were fragmented, almost lost in the wind, but her meaning was clear. Ethan's mind raced. "Your people? What happened?" Her eyes filled with tears. We are few now. Survivors. They attacked. We are dying." She struggled to sit upright, her energy clearly fading. "Please, you must help, or we will vanish." Ethan's heart tightened. He had faced danger before, battled hostile species, and seen planets torn apart by war, but the raw desperation in her eyes stirred something deeper. This wasn't just about survival, it was about extinction. "Okay," he said firmly. "We'll get you out of here, I promise. But you need to tell me what you are and what's happening." The alien woman hesitated, then nodded weakly. I am Lyra, last of the Eldari, our kind. Nearly gone." Her voice trembled. "We have a gift, but it is fading, without a chance. We will end." Ethan frowned. "A gift? What kind of gift?" Lyra's eyes glimmered with urgency. "A child. A way to continue, to survive. I need your help. Human warrior." Ethan blinked, surprised by the directness, but he sensed no danger in her request. She was not asking for companionship, only a chance to save her people. He nodded slowly. "I'll help, Lyra. I don't know how yet, but I'll do what I can." Before they could speak further, a sudden roar echoed through the canyon. Ethan's hand went to his sidearm, and Lyra instinctively curled into a defensive posture. From the shadows, strange creatures emerged. Tall, insect-like predators with chitinous armor and glowing eyes. They moved quickly, clearly hunting. Ethan positioned himself between Lyra and the creatures. "Stay behind me," he said. He fired precise bursts from his weapon, each shot illuminating the darkness. Lyra watched, wide-eyed, as Ethan moved with efficiency and calm determination. Despite the danger, there was a sense of awe in her gaze. The predators attacked with relentless speed, but Ethan's training and instincts kept them at bay. Lyra's alien senses, though weakened, helped him anticipate their movements. Together, human and alien fought side by side, a fragile team born in the heat of survival. After a tense struggle, the predators retreated, leaving the canyon silent once more. Ethan lowered his weapon, breathing heavily. Lyra stood shakily, her wounds still raw. "You saved me," she whispered. "I did what I had to," Ethan replied, helping her to steady herself. "But we're not safe yet. We need shelter, and then we need a plan." Lyra nodded, her silver-blue skin shimmering faintly in the strange sunlight. There is a place, ancient, sanctuary. It may hold the answer for our survival." Ethan's curiosity was piqued. "Sanctuary? Lead the way." With careful steps, Lyra began guiding him through the rocky terrain. The journey was slow, her injuries were severe, but Ethan refused to leave her behind. As they moved, she shared fragments of Eldari history, their once thriving civilization, their knowledge of genetics and life preservation, and the tragedy that had brought them to the brink of extinction. Ethan listened intently, fascinated by the depth of her culture and the complexity of her species. He felt a profound respect growing within him, not just for her, but for all Eldari. Here was a species on the edge, and humans might be the key to giving them a future. Hours passed, and the landscape grew more treacherous. Sharp cliffs and unstable rocks tested their endurance, but Ethan's resolve never wavered. Lyra's faith in him was clear, though unspoken, and that trust weighed heavily on his shoulders. Finally, as the twin moons of Veyara rose in the sky, casting a silver glow across the canyon, Lyra pointed toward a distant structure. "There, sanctuary. We will find hope." Ethan squinted through the fading light. A massive stone structure rose from the desert floor, covered in alien markings and glowing faintly with an inner light. It seemed untouched by time, a relic of a civilization far older than anyone had imagined. He exhaled, a sense of determination settling in. "Then let's get there. Together." Lyra gave a faint smile, the first sign of hope since they had met. For the first time, the possibility of survival felt real, not just for her, but for her entire species. And so, beneath the alien skies of Veyara, a human warrior and a desperate alien woman began their journey toward hope, survival, and a future neither of them could yet imagine. The sanctuary loomed closer as Captain Ethan Ryland and Lyra moved cautiously across the jagged terrain. The alien structure was massive, far older than anything Ethan had seen in his career. Its walls were carved with symbols that glimmered faintly in the twin moons' light, and strange patterns seemed to shift subtly, as if alive. Lyra struggled to keep pace. Her wounds slowed her, but her determination never wavered. "Almost there," she whispered, leaning on Ethan for support. "The sanctuary. It holds the knowledge, the way, to save my people." Ethan glanced at her. "I want to understand everything, Lyra. But you have to tell me. Why a human? Why me?" Lyra's silver-blue eyes met his. A mixture of desperation and hope shone in them. "Your species, humans. You carry resilience, adaptability, and strength. Qualities our kind needs. Alone, we cannot survive. But with you, there is hope." Ethan frowned, trying to comprehend. Hope. Through me? You mean for your species to continue? Yes, Lyra said, her voice trembling. We can preserve our lineage, create a child, and ensure the survival of Eldari. But we cannot do it alone. Ethan felt a surge of responsibility. He had faced danger in countless worlds, but never had he been asked to hold the future of an entire species in his hands. It was not just a mission anymore. It was a moral choice, a test of humanity itself. Lyra continued, Our kind, we have special biology. We can combine with another species' traits. If compatible, we can carry our lineage, but I cannot do it without a human's help. I need your courage, your sacrifice, your guidance. Ethan paused. The wind whistled around them, carrying dust and the scent of alien flora. He thought about the countless battles humans had fought across the galaxy, the lives they had saved, the civilizations they had protected. Was this another form of heroism? Another chance to show that humanity's strength was not only in war, but in compassion? I'll help, Ethan said finally, but I need to know everything first. How it works, what's involved. I don't want to make mistakes. Lyra nodded, relief washing over her features. The sanctuary, it holds the knowledge, the devices, the guides. There, we can learn safely. But first, we must reach it. Danger still follows us. Ethan's gaze swept the horizon. In the distance, he could see faint movements, shadows among the rocks. The predators from earlier, perhaps, or worse. Then we move carefully. No sudden steps. We protect each other. They advanced slowly, Ethan scanning with his sidearm and Lyra pointing out subtle hazards. Her knowledge of the terrain, though limited by her injuries, proved invaluable. She led him around sharp cliffs, unstable rocks, and hidden crevices, her instincts finely tuned by survival. After hours of careful travel, they reached the sanctuary's outer gates. Massive stone doors engraved with alien symbols blocked their path. They radiated energy, faint but unmistakable, as if aware of their presence. Lyra stepped forward, her fingers tracing the carvings. This is the entrance. The Guardians. The sanctuary protects knowledge, but only those who mean no harm can enter. Ethan studied her, realizing the stakes were more than physical. It was not just survival, it was trust. Do you trust me? He asked. Lyra hesitated, then nodded firmly. Yes, you carry courage. You have heart. That is enough to pass. Ethan exhaled, placing his hand on the surface of the door. Energy pulsed beneath his fingers, reacting to his touch. Slowly, the massive doors rumbled open, revealing a vast chamber illuminated by soft, natural light filtering from the walls themselves. The air was alive with subtle hums, vibrations that resonated deep within their bones. Inside, alien machinery, strange crystals, and holographic displays filled the space. Symbols floated in the air, forming patterns that shifted and changed with every step they took. Lyra's eyes shone with awe. The sanctuary, it remembers our history, our science, our ways to preserve life. Ethan walked carefully, marveling at the technology. He had seen advanced alien devices before, but this was different. It was not just for war or energy. It was life itself, a repository of knowledge meant to protect a species from extinction. Lyra turned to him, her voice soft but urgent. Here, we can combine human and Eldari traits, safely, to preserve my people. The sanctuary guides us. It will teach us what to do. But it is not simple. It requires understanding, patience, and courage. Ethan nodded. Then we learn. Whatever it takes, we see it through. They spend hours exploring the sanctuary. Lyra explained the basics, The Eldari had developed a system of genetic preservation, using compatible species to carry their lineage if necessary. Humans were rare in their compatibility matrix, but Ethan's genetics were ideal. "This will save my people," Lyra said, her voice barely above a whisper. "If we succeed, the Eldari will survive. A child, a future, a hope for those lost." Ethan absorbed her words. He understood the weight of what she was asking. It was not about him. It was about the survival of an entire species, about extending life and hope across the stars. Humanity, he realized, had the ability to be more than conquerors or warriors. It could be saviors. As night fell over the sanctuary, Ethan and Lyra prepared to rest. Ethan kept watch, scanning for predators, while Lyra began interacting with the alien machines, her alien hands glowing faintly as they responded. Despite her weakness, she was driven by hope, by purpose. Ethan watched her work, a deep respect forming in him. This was courage, he thought, not just physical strength, but the bravery to carry the weight of an entire species on one's shoulders. Humans had fought wars, built civilizations, explored the galaxy. But here was a chance to make a difference that transcended borders, planets, and even species. "I will not fail you," Ethan said quietly. Lyra looked up, her eyes shimmering. "I know," she replied, "because humanity carries light. Even in darkness, even when hope seems lost, you shine." And for the first time since he had landed on Veyara, Ethan felt a deeper purpose. This mission was no longer routine. It was a journey of survival, of trust, and of the unbreakable spirit of life. Together, human and alien would face the unknown, and perhaps forge a future neither had imagined. The sanctuary's inner chambers were vast and silent, filled with the faint hum of alien machinery. Ethan Ryland's footsteps echoed against smooth, glowing floors as he followed Lyra deeper into the complex. Every corner seemed alive, the walls etched with alien symbols that pulsed with soft light, as if watching them. Lyra's silver-blue skin shimmered faintly in the glow, and despite her fatigue, her movements were precise. She led Ethan to a central chamber, where a series of crystalline devices hovered in the air, connected by invisible streams of energy. "This is where we prepare," she said. "The sanctuary will guide us. It can combine our knowledge, safely teach us how to preserve life." Ethan nodded, absorbing the scale of what lay before him. He had seen advanced alien technology before, but nothing like this. These devices were not tools of war or power. They were instruments of survival. The thought that humans could play a role in saving another species filled him with quiet pride. Lyra gestured to a crystalline pedestal. "Place your hand here. The sanctuary will read your genetics. It will help determine compatibility." Ethan hesitated only a moment before following her instruction. As his fingers touched the cool crystal, a rush of light and energy surged through him. Symbols and patterns flickered before his eyes, a stream of information too fast to comprehend fully. The sanctuary's AI, silent but sentient, was analyzing, guiding, and calculating. "It is compatible," Lyra said, relief evident in her tone. "This means, together, we can preserve my species, but it is not simple. You will need to learn about our biology, our needs, and our rituals. Only understanding will ensure success." Ethan straightened, determination set in his jaw. "Then teach me. I'll do whatever it takes." Lyra led him to another chamber, filled with holographic displays. Each display represented a part of Eldari physiology: cells, DNA sequences, and ancient genetic patterns. "The Eldari are fragile, in number, but our genetics are strong. They can adapt if preserved carefully. The sanctuary will guide you, but you must understand the principles." Hours passed as Ethan absorbed the lessons. Lyra spoke slowly, repeating key points and answering his questions. He learned about the Eldari life cycle, their methods of genetic preservation, and the delicate balance needed to ensure the survival of a new generation. Though complex, Ethan's human ingenuity allowed him to understand quickly, finding patterns and solutions the sanctuary itself sometimes overlooked. "You are remarkable," Lyra said quietly, watching him navigate a particularly intricate sequence. "Most would become overwhelmed, but you see clearly. Perhaps this is why humans are admired across the galaxy. Your kind adapts, even to things beyond imagination." Ethan smiled faintly, feeling both pride and responsibility. He had faced countless dangers before, but nothing compared to this. Here, the stakes were not victory or defeat. They were life and survival itself. As they worked, Lyra began training him in more practical ways. They practiced using the sanctuary's devices to simulate preservation procedures, carefully combining human and Eldari genetic patterns in holographic form. Ethan learned to manipulate the crystals, adjusting energy flows and sequencing genetic structures under Lyra's guidance. Despite the seriousness, moments of lightness emerged. Ethan made mistakes, causing harmless but dramatic holographic explosions of light. Lyra would giggle softly, her laughter like music in the chamber. "Focus, human," she said playfully, though her eyes sparkled with warmth. "But I will admit, it is entertaining." Ethan laughed too, feeling a bond forming between them. It was not friendship in the usual sense. They were from different worlds, different species, but trust and mutual respect were building. In this sanctuary, far from the dangers of Veyara's surface, human ingenuity and alien knowledge combined in ways that felt almost magical. As night fell outside the sanctuary, the inner chambers glowed like a small sun. Ethan and Lyra took a brief rest, sitting across from one another on smooth stone benches. Lyra's injuries were healing slowly, aided by alien technology that Ethan could barely understand. "You have done well today," Lyra said softly. "You learn quickly, and your heart. It carries courage. That is rare. Humans, you have something that carries beyond strength or skill. You inspire hope." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I didn't come here for admiration. I came to help, to do what's right. If humanity can save even one species, then our purpose reaches further than war or conquest." Lyra's eyes glimmered with emotion. "And you already carry that purpose. That is why the sanctuary accepted you. Life chooses those who carry hope." The next day, training resumed with increased intensity. Ethan learned to anticipate the sanctuary's responses, to work seamlessly with alien technology, and to manage complex simulations of life preservation. Lyra guided him patiently, correcting errors and encouraging him when challenges seemed overwhelming. During one session, a simulated emergency triggered. A failure in the holographic sequence threatened to destabilize the preservation matrix. Ethan reacted instinctively, using his human intuition to redirect energy flows and stabilize the system. Lyra's eyes widened in admiration. "You saved it," she said. "Quick thinking, precise action. That is human strength. You are not only learning, you are excelling." Ethan felt a surge of pride, tempered by humility. This was bigger than him, bigger than any battle he had fought. Here, every action mattered. Every decision could ripple across the galaxy, impacting an entire species' future. By the end of the day, Ethan was exhausted but resolute. Lyra watched him, noting the determination and resilience he displayed. "You will succeed," she said softly, "because you carry more than knowledge. You carry courage, compassion, and hope. That is why life chooses humans for tasks beyond imagination." Ethan nodded, understanding at last what she meant. Humanity was admired not just for strength or skill, but for the ability to face the impossible, to act with morality and wisdom, even when fear threatened. Here in the sanctuary, he was not just a warrior. He was a guardian of life, a bridge between species, and a symbol of human potential. As they prepared for the next stage of their journey, Ethan and Lyra shared a quiet moment of understanding. The path ahead would be difficult, full of challenges and dangers, but together they had begun something extraordinary. With courage, patience, and trust, they would face whatever trials awaited, and perhaps ensure the survival of an entire species. The sanctuary's heart was a labyrinth of alien technology and shifting corridors. Walls of crystal and stone pulsed with soft energy, guiding Lyra and Ethan deeper into its interior. The air vibrated with a low hum, as if the structure itself were alive, aware of every movement they made. "This section is the trial zone," Lyra explained, her voice steady despite fatigue. "The sanctuary tests those who seek to use its knowledge. Only those worthy may proceed. Failure could be dangerous." Ethan nodded, his hand resting on his sidearm. Though he trusted Lyra, the unknown dangers ahead set his nerves on edge. "Then we face it together," he said. "No surprises get past us." The first challenge was a room filled with floating geometric panels, rotating slowly in midair. Each panel displayed alien symbols, glowing softly. As they stepped inside, the panels began moving faster, forming patterns and shifting in ways that seemed chaotic. Lyra pointed to one panel. "Match the sequences, or the trial resets. Focus. Use logic. And trust your instincts." Ethan took a deep breath and studied the patterns. At first, the movements seemed random, impossible to predict. But slowly, he noticed subtle repetitions. He began stepping in rhythm with the panels, moving his hand to touch specific symbols in order. The panels responded, slowing, then aligning perfectly. Lyra smiled. "Excellent. Human intuition, combined with careful observation, succeeds where others fail. You are proving why humanity is respected across the galaxy." Ethan nodded, a small grin on his face. "Thanks. Let's keep moving." The next chamber was darker, filled with shifting shadows and hidden floor panels. As they entered, a series of holographic projections sprang to life, simulations of alien predators, each moving quickly toward them. Ethan instinctively raised his sidearm, though he realized these were only illusions. "Do not rely only on weapons," Lyra warned. "The trial tests your mind and your ability to adapt." Ethan studied the projections carefully. By observing their patterns and timing, he began to anticipate their movements. Using the environment and precise steps, he guided Lyra safely through the room. Every step required careful thought and quick reflexes, a combination of human skill and reasoning. When they reached the other side, Lyra's voice was full of admiration. "You adapt. You think. You act with courage and care. Humans, you are remarkable. That is why life trusts you." Ethan felt a surge of pride but kept his focus. The trials were only part of their journey. The sanctuary still held more challenges. The third chamber was the most difficult yet. A vast hall stretched before them, filled with shifting walls and energy barriers. To proceed, they had to navigate through a constantly changing maze while carrying vital alien genetic samples. One wrong move could trigger traps, damaging the fragile materials. Lyra took Ethan's arm. "We must work together. Trust each other. Only coordination. Only patience. We'll succeed." Ethan nodded. He studied the maze carefully, noticing the subtle cues in the floor's glow and the energy pulses. We go slowly, step by step, and adjust as we go. As they moved, walls shifted unexpectedly, forcing them to retreat and find new paths. At one point, an energy barrier blocked their route entirely. Ethan examined it, then realized he could redirect its power using one of the sanctuary's devices. With careful manipulation, he rerouted the energy, opening a path for them to continue. Lyra's eyes widened in amazement. Quick thinking. Precise action. That is human strength. You are more than a learner. You are a partner. After hours navigating the trials, they reached a final chamber, a serene room filled with soft light and floating crystals. In the center, a pedestal glowed with a pale blue energy. Lyra approached it, her hands trembling. "This is the sanctuary's core," she whispered. "Here, we combine knowledge and prepare for the next stage, the preservation of life." Ethan stepped beside her. "Then let's do it. Together." They worked side by side, using the sanctuary's devices to simulate the combination of human and Eldari traits. Ethan's understanding of the alien sequences allowed them to stabilize the energy flows and ensure that the genetic patterns were preserved safely. Lyra guided him with patience and care, correcting mistakes and explaining complex sequences in simple terms. As they completed the procedure, a soft hum filled the chamber. The pedestal glowed brighter, acknowledging their success. Ethan glanced at Lyra, seeing a mixture of relief, hope, and pride in her eyes. "We did it," she said quietly. "The sanctuary accepts our work, our effort. Now, we are ready for the final stage, to preserve the Eldari lineage." Ethan nodded. "We've come this far. Nothing can stop us now." But as they prepared to rest, a sudden vibration shook the chamber. The sanctuary's walls pulsed with energy, and the soft hum grew louder. Ethan raised his sidearm instinctively. Outside, the sounds of movement echoed through the corridors. They were not alone. A group of hostile creatures had tracked them, seeking to claim the sanctuary's technology for themselves. Their presence was aggressive, dangerous, and relentless. Ethan turned to Lyra. "Stay close. We protect the sanctuary and each other." Lyra nodded, her silver-blue skin shimmering with resolve. "Together, we will face them. Humans, you teach courage, and I will fight with you." As the first intruders entered the chamber, Ethan and Lyra took positions. Ethan's tactical training and quick thinking guided their defense, while Lyra used her alien abilities to aid him. Their teamwork was seamless. Human ingenuity and alien skill combined to confront the threat. After a tense battle, the intruders were repelled. The sanctuary remained safe, and the trials had prepared them well for challenges that tested both mind and spirit. Ethan exhaled, glancing at Lyra. "You were right," he said. "This place, it's more than a sanctuary. It's a test of everything we are capable of." Lyra smiled, exhaustion softening her features. "Yes, and humans. You carry the light of hope. That is why we can succeed, together." As they settled to rest within the glowing chamber, both knew the path ahead would not be easy. The preservation of life required more than knowledge. It required courage, patience, and unity. And in that moment, human and alien stood together, ready to face whatever the future held. The sanctuary's glow bathed Ethan and Lyra in soft, pulsating light as they worked tirelessly. Days of preparation had strengthened their bond, built trust, and sharpened their skills. The final stage of their mission, to preserve the Eldari lineage, was within reach. Yet a storm of danger still lingered beyond the sanctuary walls. Lyra paused, scanning the outer corridors through the sanctuary's sensors. Her eyes narrowed. "They are coming, A larger group than before. They seek the sanctuary, its knowledge. They will destroy everything if they enter. Ethan rose, placing his hand on his sidearm. Then we stop them. No one breaches this place. His voice was firm, filled with determination. Humans had always fought to protect what was precious, and he would not let this mission fail. The sanctuary's walls vibrated as the intruders approached. Strange, insect-like creatures, larger and more aggressive than before, surrounded the building. Their glowing eyes reflected hunger and malice. Ethan studied them carefully. We need a plan, defensive positions, traps. We use the sanctuary to our advantage. Lyra nodded, her confidence growing. Yes, I will guide you. Together, our strength is enough. Ethan quickly set up barriers, redirecting energy flows from the sanctuary to create protective shields. Lyra activated the ancient devices, forming energy nets and defensive pulses. The combination of human strategy and alien technology created a formidable defense. When the intruders struck, they were met with unexpected resistance. Barriers repelled their initial charges, while Ethan's precise maneuvers kept the creatures at bay. Lyra, though still weakened from her injuries, moved with agility, controlling the sanctuary's defenses with exact timing. The battle was intense. Energy blasts and flashes illuminated the chambers as Ethan and Lyra coordinated seamlessly. Each attack required careful calculation and quick thinking. For every move the intruders made, the duo adapted. Yet the creatures were relentless. One massive intruder breached a side corridor, aiming directly for the core where the preservation devices hummed. Ethan saw it first, shouting a warning. Lyra reacted instantly, using a pulse of energy to push the intruder back, but the creature's strength was overwhelming. Ethan realized that brute force alone would not succeed. He needed to make a decision, one that could risk him personally but save the sanctuary. "I've got an idea," he shouted. "Distract it. Push it toward the energy field. I'll handle the rest." Lyra hesitated. "It is dangerous." "Trust me," Ethan interrupted firmly. He moved swiftly, dodging the creature's strikes, and lured it toward the energy barrier. With precise timing, he redirected the field's energy, creating a containment loop that trapped the intruder without harming it permanently. Lyra's eyes widened. "You saved the sanctuary and the device. Human courage. Unmatched." Ethan exhaled, adrenaline still rushing. "We protect life, no matter the danger. That's what humans do." Despite the temporary victory, more intruders pressed forward. Ethan realized they could not hold them forever. "Lyra, we need to evacuate some of the sanctuary's critical resources. The preservation matrices, they must be safe even if the outer walls are breached." Lyra agreed, and together they moved quickly, transferring the essential data and devices to a secure chamber. Every second counted. Every action mattered. As they worked, Ethan noticed a shadow moving toward Lyra. Without hesitation, he positioned himself between her and the threat, firing precise bursts to hold the creature back. Lyra used the sanctuary's control panels to activate defensive pulses, creating space for Ethan to maneuver. The fight was exhausting, but their teamwork never faltered. Every move was coordinated, every decision calculated. Ethan's human ingenuity and courage complemented Lyra's knowledge and alien abilities perfectly. Together, they were unstoppable. Finally, the intruders began retreating, confused by the sanctuary's defenses and their inability to penetrate the core. Ethan and Lyra watched carefully, making sure the threat was truly neutralized. Lyra turned to Ethan, her eyes filled with gratitude and awe. "You risked yourself to protect me, to protect our future. Humans, your courage. It is extraordinary. You are more than a warrior. You are a guardian of life." Ethan shook his head. "I just did what was necessary." Anyone else would have done the same. It's about protecting what matters, helping life survive. They returned to the core chamber, exhausted but relieved. Lyra touched the preservation matrices, ensuring they were stable. The sanctuary accepts our effort. The Eldari lineage is safe. A child, a future, hope exists. Ethan smiled faintly, pride mingling with fatigue. Then our mission succeeded. Not just for your people, but for life itself. That's what humans are capable of: courage, ingenuity, and heart, even in the face of impossible odds. Lyra's gaze softened. Yes, humanity carries light, even in darkness. That is why life chooses humans to stand where others cannot. Today, you were the light. As night fell over Veyara, the sanctuary's glow bathed the chamber in soft, reassuring light. Ethan and Lyra sat quietly, reflecting on the trials they had endured. Every obstacle had tested their skills, courage, and trust. Every challenge had brought them closer, not just as allies, but as partners in the preservation of life. Lyra's voice broke the silence. When the time comes, a child will be born. Your courage will live on, through hope. Ethan looked at her, understanding the magnitude of her words. It was not about him personally. It was about the survival of an entire species. Humanity had once again proven its unique strength, not just in battle, but in compassion, morality, and resilience. For the first time since landing on Veyara, Ethan felt a deep sense of fulfillment. This mission had been more than a duty. It had been a testament to the human spirit, a demonstration of courage and ingenuity that could change the course of an entire species' future. Lyra rested beside him, her wounds slowly healing thanks to the sanctuary's technology. Tomorrow, we continue, she said softly. More preparation, more understanding, for the child and for hope. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility, yet also the pride of accomplishment. Humanity had stood firm, protecting life where others might have faltered. And together, human and Eldari had taken the first real step toward a future filled with hope, courage, and survival. The sanctuary was quiet now, the echoes of recent battles fading into the soft hum of alien machinery. Ethan Ryland and Lyra stood together at the heart of the chamber, gazing at the preservation matrices that held the future of the Eldari species. The energy within the devices pulsed gently, signaling stability and success. Lyra's silver-blue skin shimmered faintly as she touched the glowing panels. "It is done," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. "The child, the future, hope exists. The Eldari lineage will continue." Ethan studied the devices, feeling the weight of what they had accomplished. It was more than a mission. It was a triumph of life, courage, and trust. Humans, he thought, had always fought for survival, for justice, and for protection. Yet, here, human ingenuity and compassion had achieved something greater, the preservation of an entire species. Lyra turned to him, her eyes glistening with emotion. "Without you, I could not have done this. You carried courage, wisdom, and heart, qualities that the Eldari respect, even admire. Humans, you shine brightly, even in darkness." Ethan shook his head, humbled. "I didn't do it for admiration. I did it because it was right, because life, every life, deserves a chance. That's what humans do." Outside the sanctuary, Veyara's skies glowed with the first light of dawn, casting soft golden rays over jagged rocks and distant cliffs. Ethan and Lyra stepped onto a balcony overlooking the alien landscape, the wind carrying the scent of alien flora and the faint hum of distant wildlife. "This world," Ethan said quietly, It's dangerous, beautiful, and full of life worth protecting. Your species. It will survive because we did what we had to." Lyra smiled, a mixture of relief and hope shining in her eyes. "Yes, because life, when guided by courage, can endure. And humans. You carry that courage farther than you know. My people, our future, depends on it." They returned to the core chamber, where the matrices stored the preserved genetic material. Lyra explained the next steps. The sanctuary's systems would continue to monitor and maintain the preservation until the Eldari were ready to integrate the stored lineage into the next generation. It was a careful, methodical process, but the foundation was secure. Ethan listened intently, impressed by the sophistication of the technology. "It's incredible," he said. "Your people, your civilization. Even after disaster, you created something that protects life itself. Humans could learn from this." Lyra nodded. "And humans, you already teach the galaxy what courage and hope can do. Together, life can endure." Days passed as Ethan and Lyra oversaw the sanctuary's operations. The Eldari technology required precise attention, and Ethan's human skills in problem-solving and strategy proved invaluable. Every adjustment he made ensured stability. Every calculation protected the fragile lineage. Lyra watched him, her respect deepening. "You are remarkable," she said softly one evening as they checked the energy flows together. "Not only for your strength, but for your mind, your heart. Humans, you are more than conquerors. You are guardians." Ethan smiled faintly. "We do what we must. That's our strength and our responsibility." As the final adjustments were made, Lyra stepped back, gazing at the glowing matrices. "It is complete. The Eldari will live, because humans chose to help. The child, the future, all of it is possible now." Ethan placed a hand on the pedestal, feeling the faint vibration of energy. "It's a good feeling, knowing we made a difference. Not just for one world, but for life itself." Lyra's eyes softened. "And your presence here, your courage, will be remembered. Even when humans leave, the legacy of your actions will endure." For a moment, silence enveloped them. Then Ethan spoke, quietly but firmly. "You said the child will be born one day. That means hope for generations to come. That's worth everything we faced." Lyra nodded, a tear glinting in her silver-blue eye. "Yes, hope will grow. Stronger than despair. Life endures. Because humans act when others cannot. That is why the galaxy respects your kind." Ethan felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had fought countless battles, survived hostile worlds, and faced impossible odds. Yet this mission, saving a species, preserving life, was the most important of all. It was proof that humans were capable of courage, wisdom, and compassion that transcended borders, planets, and even species. Outside the sanctuary, the sun rose higher, casting warm light over the jagged terrain of Veyara. Ethan and Lyra stepped onto the balcony once more, feeling the breeze and watching the world awaken. "Your people will flourish now," Ethan said. "The child will grow, learn, and one day lead your species. That's a future worth fighting for." Lyra smiled, hope radiating from her. "Yes, and humans. You have shown that hope can be real, that courage and care can change destiny. My people will honor this day." Ethan nodded, understanding the depth of her words. Humanity's strength was not only in battle, but in the choices to act morally, to protect life, and to inspire hope. In this remote sanctuary, on a distant alien world, Humans had made a difference that would echo through generations. As they prepared to leave the sanctuary, Lyra turned to Ethan one last time. Go. Carry your courage onward. Your actions, your heart, are proof that humanity can light the darkest corners of the galaxy. Ethan smiled, feeling a sense of purpose and pride. We will continue, always. Wherever life needs hope, humans will be there. Together, human and alien stood side by side, looking toward the horizon. The future was bright, filled with promise, courage, and life. The Eldari would survive, and humanity's legacy of bravery and compassion would continue to shine across the stars. In that moment, on the alien world of Veyara, the bond between species, the triumph of hope, and the enduring spirit of humanity marked a new beginning for both humans and Eldari. Life had won, courage had prevailed, and the galaxy would never forget that humans could make a difference where none seemed possible.